Office Hotel, witnessing yet another innovation from Zimbabwe Online ZOL. Today we are so much honored to be joined by the ZOL CEO, Mr. Denny Marandure, talking briefly on the new exciting package that they're going to be offering as far as the fiber market is concerned, and we are so much honored. Sir, thank you for your time to just join our short economic YouTube video.
Thank you.
Okay, briefly, I understand that today you've managed to aid in excitement into the fiber market, and as far as connectivity is concerned, I think for the benefit of our viewers, briefly, if you can just update them on what has been happening here today.
Yeah, here today we've been launching our new product, which is called Basic Essentials, at $39 a month. And basically this is in response to the market who are demanding a lower entry package.
So $9 on fiber.
On fiber.
Real fiber.
Yes, exactly. It's the lowest fiber-based internet in Zimbabwe. So they've been requesting a lower package so they can also be connected. Okay. And as I enumerated in my speech, internet has become a basic human right. Therefore, we at ZOL feel it's our obligation as one of the leading ISPs in Zimbabwe to make internet accessible to every home in Zimbabwe. So the internet penetration in Zimbabwe, fiber is only 1%. But total internet penetration in Africa is 26.5%, compared to North America at 87.7%. And the biggest hindrance and barriers to entry for a lot of people in countries like ours is cost. It has become very expensive to access internet and so forth. So we are also trying to make it accessible. So by bringing this fibronics package at $39, super fast, everywhere, we are hoping to create a more inclusive.
Who is your targeted market? Are you targeting the business or the home?
No, we are targeting homes. Okay. We are businesses have different packages. Yes, but we are basically targeting Zimbabwe homes, okay. Home users.
Which areas specifically are going to be able to? Yes, maybe the initial rollout of this package.
Rollout is everywhere in Harare, where we have our fiber, Bulawayo, Mutare, and we are rolling out a lot of other areas. Okay. So wherever we have fiber, we can get connected. As I said, we are working with the Minister of ICT, so that because when we put fiber, we have to apply for waivers, we have to do permits to dig and so forth. Even sometimes to dig a little road, across the street, it can take months to get approved. So we are trying to work in partnership with the Minister of ICT and local council so that they can speed up the process. That's why we want them to understand that this is not only, we cannot only do it ourselves. We need to do it in partnership with the ministry, with the city council, because it's all an inclusive exercise. So that, because internet has become the biggest driver for economic growth in Zimbabwe. So when we all realize that, and it also goes to the Zima set that says, infrastructure development is part of it. So setting fiber and so forth is part of infrastructure development. And if you look at all the other economies in the first world, internet has been the biggest driver of economic growth.
True. Yeah, great work there. I think we would also want to commend you on making the fiber dream a reality to most people in Zimbabwe. So I think maybe the other issues on the technicality, how far it may supposed to be from the nearest fiber line for me, fiber backbone line for me to be able to get this. How far should my house be located?
I think we are putting fiber everywhere, and the only thing, if you need to understand, to see if you can get fiber, the matter is you just call our office, we will send our site people to do a site survey, and they'll tell you if they can put fiber, 1 meter or MPLS. But in most areas where it's RFS, which is ready for service, you can, anywhere you are, they can just put the fiber. Yes.
Okay, let's just talk a bit on the terms and conditions that we usually don't talk about. I want to know how far am I going to be eligible to be connected, especially on the distance for the next connection. And how much is it going to cost me? Is it going to cost me an extra charge if I'm going to be 100 meters, 1 kilometer away from the next fiber line? And exactly that. How is it going to work out?
It doesn't cost you any extra. Actually, if you move up a few packages up, we have free installation. For this package, they take $39. The installation is only $49.
No matter how far.
No matter how far you are. It's just $49 installation charge. Our guys will come, dig in, and then pull the fiber, and you're connected. So it doesn't matter. We don't do it by distance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just by home. If you have a home, wherever you are, with fiber, just $49.
How viable is this? I understand we are excited definitely as users, but how viable is this going to be on your side as an ISP for you to be able to actually roll out fiber? Only $49, no matter how far the person is to the nearest.
Yeah, we've made huge investments in infrastructure. As you understand, you put an investment in infrastructure, you don't expect a return in a short time. So the return will be felt over time. Because that fiber is going to be there for years to come. So we don't have to do anything to it. Except sometimes maybe when it's damaged, then it's repaired, but it's underground. So the chances of that are very limited. So it's a capital investment, really. It's a capex. And we expect a return on it over years. But it's going to benefit a lot of people. It's going to benefit the Zimbabwean economy, and it's going to be a vibrant growth for Zimbabwe. Our kids will be able to do school, research, business are going to be able to operate from home because they can access the internet. So my plea is to our peers in the internet industry to also reduce your prices so that you can have access for everyone. Right now, we stand at dismal, 1%. True. As Potras is saying, but we need to put it up,
On another interest note, I think ZOL as an ISP, the perception in Zimbabwe is that ZOL is perceived to be much more bent to be providing service for the elite or the lower density. Are you going to be going to the high density also, or you're going to be continuing on the low density? How are you going to be rolling out this? And do you have any areas that you know that you've already covered and those that you can actually promise and say you're going to be going through, especially with the high density? And I know that you've been very much busy with the low density. Are you doing anything also for the high density?
Yeah, we are. I just took over in September as the new CEO, and so didn't have much publicity and so forth. But I've started creating awareness so that people understand what's ZOL. I didn't really know what ZOL is. But now we're making a concerted effort to make sure everyone knows what ZOL is. So even in the lower density suburbs, we want to provide service. We have visited service where we don't have fiber. We have visited with WiMAX, so everyone can access. In the rural areas, we have visited. We have other rural areas right now, farms that are connected to ZOL.
So are we going to be having fiber also in high density ghettos, or are we
a lot of this is going to be depending on the cost. It depends on what the cost is and what the uptake is. Because normally when you go to an area, we do a sample, see how many people are there, how many people want it, and the results of the survey will determine whether we're going to an area or not.
Because what's pushing me is, honestly speaking, at $10 per month, almost every Zimbabwean who is actually using it can actually afford to be on your fiber optics.
And that's our objective. That's our objective. And if people want, we're going to roll out fiber. We already have the infrastructure. We already have the equipment. We have invested a lot of money. So as soon as the city council can also help us speed up our payment applications, we can give your neighborhood at any time. So it will also be good for our consumers. It will also lobby the council, the city council, say, their local council says, can you speed up the payments? We want fiber, we want internet in the homes. Because there's a travel around, a lot of people say, when are you coming to our neighborhood?
So what's really stopping you now to get into these neighborhoods?
It's payments. We have to do application for payments.
With the local authorities?
Waylist payments and so forth. Yes. You have to apply, then you get a payment, and then you start digging. Yeah, so there's a payment at every stage. And there's been a backlog, like our legal president said, it's taking about a month to get payments and so forth. Okay. So if you consider the areas we want to get into, the process needs to be reduced to at least 2 weeks or 1 week. Definitely. And then that will speed up the process. People have to understand, everyone, all stakeholders have to understand that this is not benefiting us all alone. It's benefiting the country as a whole. It's a good benefit for our consumers as well. Yeah. And it's a reflection of your economy. Yeah. If you look at countries that are connected to the internet, their economies are bad.
Definitely.
Doing very well.
Contributes a lot towards
GDP.
GDP.
Exactly. So that's our objective. Get this thing going so that our economy give a boost to our economy.
You mentioned a very interesting point on a message rather to other ISPs that they should also try and lower down their prices to make it accessible. I think of interest is your connection with Liquid Telecoms as your backbone. Does this not give you much of an advantage because you are directly connected to an internet access provider? Does this, if I'm to change, rephrase the question, does this make it much more of a fair competition? Will they be able actually to even match up this, because you are directly linked to an IAP, and some of these ISPs also, they're actually buying off from IAPs they are not necessarily linked to, but you are linked definitely to Lagos Telecoms. Does this not give you an advantage that these players will never even match up against?
So Liquid is our parent company.
Yes.
But it gives us absolutely no advantage because, according to Portugal's laws and regulations, when LTZ, Liquid Telecom, is a wholesaler, they sell to Low Africa, they sell to Franco, they sell to whoever wants to buy it, and whatever price they sell is the same price we give. So exactly, there is no
even though they're a parent company.
Even though they're a parent company, but when they sell bandwidth to us, it's at the same price. Because they can't sell it to us at a less price, otherwise it becomes unfair. Exactly. So we get it at the same price, so the competition field is the same. So anyone can go and say, I want to buy fibre, I want to buy bandwidth, and then they'll do it for you, but at the same price that we get. So there's no unfair advantage. Yes.
Interesting. Probably maybe just before we shut down this very insightful interview, I think we may just want to run through, after the $39 package for the entry level Wi-Fi make, what other packages do we have?
There is one for $89. That's kept at 30 gigs. It used to be 20, now it's 30 gigs. Okay. Then there's one for $149. It's kept at it's unlimited. Okay. And then there's another one for business and home. So we have 6 packages. The last one's being 10, which is at $339. But if you go to our website or Facebook,
they are all listed there.
They are all listed.
I think maybe to us also presents another challenge, especially on the capped and on the capped limits that you actually get as a subscriber there. I think for especially from what we've managed to gather previously with the WiMAX service, when it comes in with a bit of unlimited internet, when you do not necessarily specifically say that you're going to be kept at this rate, are we not going to be also having these same problems, especially on congestion? Are we going to be guaranteed on the 5 megabyte download and the 1 megabyte upload? How guaranteed are these speeds, and are they going to be also shared speed at what bandwidth contention are we going to be having on a certain area?
These speeds are guaranteed, and we always encourage our customers to always check. Once a month, check your speeds, see if they're actually up to what you signed up for. If they're not, call us and we send our guys to see what the issue is. And we've had people calling here and they say, oh, my speed is not correct, but they are very rare calls. So it's still, a lot of people are happy with the service, very happy. And also sometimes it depends on the time of day that you log in and so forth. There's sometimes a busy period, So your internet might slow down a little bit, but it doesn't mean that your speeds have been changed. The system, they stay the same, but wherever there's congestion, sometimes you have to, it's a give and take. But most of the speeds are up to what they are. Because those are,
they can actually expect those kind of high
absolutely.
speeds.
You expect those are
without any congestion issues.
Absolutely. If you don't get the high speeds, just call us and we check. Yeah, we'll send our guys there and they'll do their checks and see what happened and they'll correct it.
Okay. Yeah. I think maybe just before we quickly just round up, on the most contentious issue of congestion and speed, because this is what the people are actually going to be getting. I think for ZOL, in other players, when they usually come into the market, I think we have a problem with this issue that we do get super fast speed, but with time we end up getting especially issues of people being shared on a certain bandwidth, and then with bandwidth contention, and then the internet speeds they also drop. Currently, if we can have a rough figure, how is your subscriber base like, and how do you hope that it's going to move with such a promotion? And do you have enough infrastructure to actually take care of these issues of bandwidth congestion?
Yeah, that's the advantage of being